What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Mellow.
and Rado, the sports podcast where we talk about your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and we review all your favorite sport events that happen. And we're about to get into a good one, right, Mello? What's going on with you, man? Let me say that
Oh
first.
yeah. Right. I'm just chilling. It was a great fight weekend, UFC 265. Hell of a good card. What about you, man? How you doing over there in the motherland in Bulgaria?
I'm doing good still, still traveling around, doing a thing
Nice.
over here, but definitely watching the all the sports that I'm getting to. I mean, I know this fight was a little early for me. I had to catch it at 7 in the morning, while you guys were catching it at midnight because I'm 7 hours
Right,
ahead. But
right,
hey, it was
right. Yeah,
still
the time difference.
right. It was
By the
still.
way, this is Gunther. He's gonna definitely
Uh,
be interrupting a lot.
yep,
Yeah,
we got a new guest in the podcast today.
that's a fact. We got a special guest that won't leave my lap.
All right. Let's hope you don't give you those hands like Gain did to Lewis.
Oh yeah, no. We definitely
but
don't
we
want those pounds, right, Gunther?
Uh, all right, we definitely gonna talk about that though, and all the other fights that were going on the weekend card. There was 5 cards on that main card, and we just want to go back and review all those and see what we
Oh
had,
yeah,
what
we
we
gave a lot
thought
of insight and predictions. Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, why don't we just go ahead and get started with those the first fight on the main card that we saw.
Yeah. Let us know which one was that first one again.
So we had Song Yong Dong. If I'm saying his
Mm-hmm.
name wrong, I'm sure he's gonna be all right with that because I'm sure a lot of people get it wrong. Versus Casey Kenny, you know, um, it was a good fight, honestly. Like what I saw, it went split decision, so they both obviously got their shots in. It
Mm-hmm.
was a good stand up fight. One thing I saw about Song Yong Dong, he actually had like a lot faster combos that he was trying to throw. He was definitely
Oh
trying to
yeah.
go in and whenever whenever Kenny was trying to push him back into the fence, like he wasn't really letting it happen as much. He was still pushing back towards the middle. So I saw that from Song Yong Dong. He was definitely
Mm-hmm.
like the faster fighter in this fight, but it was honestly a very even fight in the first 2 rounds. If you look at the first 2 rounds, that could have been a
Yeah.
draw. But the last round, I definitely thought he took over a little bit more. He had more shots that he connected with. Um, I still think that Kenny was very pissed that he didn't win. You heard chants of like
Oh, you
USA,
seen that?
USA
Yeah.
through the whole fight. He even like they both put their hands up at the end of the fight. They thought they won. They were
Yeah.
like,
Both of them thought they were gonna
they
walk
both.
away.
So that one was like a kind of a tough one to judge. But if you really like look at the strategy and technique, I think that Song Yong definitely deserved the win, and he definitely had the shots that show why he won. What do you think about this one?
Yeah. So definitely went to a split decision.
Yeah,
But I'll be honest, I don't know how. Kenny didn't win one round.
you don't think
Kenny
so?
was pushing the pace the whole time. But
Mm,
Yadong basically played the fight. The strategy was perfect. Kept his distance, kept out the pocket. Yeah, he was backing up while Kenny was pushing, but he
yep,
was countering so perfect with
those
mean
counters.
lethal combos. Me like
Hmm.
with the kicks too. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Kenny would try to throw a 1-2, and just get back, just get met back, basically
Yep,
walking into punches.
yep,
And all 3 rounds, while Kenny may have been walking Yadong down, Kenny's output was significantly less every round.
yeah,
And as the fight went on, the output, the difference got bigger, basically.
yeah, it
Like that
definitely
third
did.
round, he almost threw like or hit another like 18 more significant punches. So,
He did.
maybe
Yeah.
one of the earlier rounds, probably that first round since he was pushing the pace, one of the judges clearly gave it to him.
Hmm.
Um, but no, he didn't do nearly enough to win that fight. He was basically getting walked. He wasn't even getting walked down because he was doing the walking, but he was just like a zombie,
Yeah.
walking straight into punches, not even taking his head off center line. Um, I don't know, like it sucks because I kept waiting for his corner to give him some adjustments, and it's so weird because I honestly hate to see this happens, but it happens quite often. Where I mean, I get we're fans and we might not know best, But there will be times where we see fights and we see fighters and we'll see them lose a round.
Right.
And they
And
go to their corner and
they won't
them and their
act like
corner,
they didn't
they
lose.
think they won that
I
round
know.
or something,
Act
or
like
that
they
what they
didn't
did
lose.
worked. Like, no.
Hmm.
So they didn't make no adjustments. They basically used the same strategy all 3 rounds and
Right.
they didn't walk away with a win. It was a split decision, you know. Well, we already know how the UFC judge would be.
They do,
Um,
but I mean, Kenny won that second round. By the way,
it
like the
was the
first round
second
went
that
to
they
the
gave him.
young, but I mean, like even in the first
Mm,
round, the reason why they didn't give it to him is because obviously he was trying to push Yudong back, and
right,
Yudong,
right,
like you say,
right.
he was going with those counters. Like that's one thing I
Walking right
noticed
into
that
it.
Kenny, if he would have actually got a song into the fence. And he would have like maybe held him in there and maybe got some more shots in. He
He couldn't
might
catch
have
him.
even he might have looked a little bit better in this fight, but like you said, as the fight went on, you kind of saw like you saw that Yudong was getting way more shots, and that's why that third round they scored it at 30-27. The rest of the rounds were 29-28, which were a lot closer. 30-27 is that means that he was pretty much in control the whole round, that third round. So by then he pretty much found out his strategy that he was trying to push him back, and Yudong he utilized his kicks a lot. I definitely saw that
Right,
he
right,
was
right.
he was trying to get that high kick in. He couldn't obviously connect on those high kicks, but he was still throwing them. So then that was actually like bringing Kenny back. He was backing up every time, and that was backing him into the middle again. And I
Hmm.
think that Soo Young Dong, he definitely fights better in the middle. Like you can see that he loves
No,
having
wasn't
the
his
distance fight
normal
in the middle.
element, but the strategy was played to perfection.
It
He
was
normally don't back up for a whole fight like that, but
that
he
third
pretty
round
much
strategy was
backed
great.
up and won the fight. Now the third round, he came out a little more aggressive, and that was more
He
like
did
him. But that first two
right.
rounds, Kenny was the aggressor, and Kenny still probably. I mean, I guess you say he took 1 round, so he was the aggressor for those first 2 rounds and barely took one. And that
Right,
third
right,
round, he had no
exactly.
energy left, and your dog basically finished him. So yeah,
That's one thing
it
I've
was still a
seen
good fight to
from.
watch for sure.
It was a good one, but I've seen that from Kenny before. I've only honestly seen one other fight from him, but the other fight I saw as well, like in the first round, he was always trying to push forward, always pushing forward, wasting a lot of energy. And then by the third round,
But
you
that's what
start
he needed
losing.
to do to win a fight
That's
against
his
Udong.
that's his
That's
strategy.
what I
That's
said
his
in the prediction. He had to just kind of go in there and show him that he could take those hits
right,
and kind of walk him down. But
right.
he
I
was
mean,
ineffective on throwing back. No,
exactly,
if you can't do
exactly.
that, then what are you
He
gonna
was
do?
ineffective. You're right, and that's how you lose. But I mean, you got to give my man Song Yadong some credit. He was going up against the American. Obviously the chants in the stadium were all USA chants.
Right, right, right.
But even going
The
like
crowd was
against the
definitely feeling it.
fans, you
Hmm.
know, you got to give him some credit for actually taking care of business right there and moving on up in the rankings now. So I think he's going to
Yeah,
be a pretty decent fighter.
for sure. For me, like I said, I always love technical fighters.
Right.
Really playing strategy, playing to your strengths, playing to your opponent's weaknesses. Like I don't, especially for UFC because it's not supposed to be them. I say it all the time. It's not supposed to be them out there just trying to break each other's
It's not
chin
a
off. Like
boxing
that's the
match.
case.
It's not a
It's not a
boxing
boxing
match.
match. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's so many different aspects to the game of mixed martial
Mhm.
art, and just I love watching when someone comes out there has a strategy and plays it out perfectly. Like
Plays it
you don't
out.
have to go out there and scrape someone to play
Right.
your strategy out perfectly. It's supposed to be a tough fight, but if you're still the better fighter with the better strategy
Hmm.
that night, that's how you end up. And your dunk definitely pulled out a great fight and a great
Right.
one.
Right. He definitely didn't like lose the energy in the third round. That's for sure. Like he kept his energy, unlike Kenny. But that was definitely a great fight. And let's go on to the next one, which was another really great fight. I mean, we thought it was gonna go a little bit longer, but this was a.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, this is Should we talk about
Oh
the
no, you
women's
got the
fight,
women's
or
fight. Yes, yes.
I
The
mean,
women's fight was actually next.
technically, that was next. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
we
that was
should
the
talk
second
about
fight.
that. Keisha Torres versus Angela Hill. That was a unanimous decision.
Mhm.
Keisha Torres took it. 30-27, 30-27, 29-28 was the last round, which was a little bit closer, I guess you can
Right,
say.
right.
But if you look at the fight as a whole, I mean, it was pretty much what happened in the first fight that they had. It was honestly a domination. Even though it wasn't a knockout. It was a pretty big domination, I would say. Like, she
Close.
controlled the fight. Yeah, I mean, especially the first round. The first round, you saw that she was just punching her, and the second round, Angela Hill was able to block a lot more punches, but still, she was getting hit. She was getting hit, and then she got brought down a few times throughout the fight. So that kind of loses you points as well, and that kind of shows that the Tisha has like more of an all-around game. Angela Hill, she just doesn't know how to fight against Tisha. I mean, maybe she's scared, or I don't know. I don't want to call her scared. I don't want to call like any fighter scared, but it's definitely, that's what I'm gonna say. It's a bad matchup. Let's say it's a bad matchup for her.
It really is.
Honestly, like, Tisha Torres was just walking all over her. She really was. She was able to move around her. She was able to take her down. Striking clinic. She obviously got bloody up above her eye, like in the beginning of the first round. Angela Hill, that is. And she did throw some good shots. In the second round, I did see her throw a nice uppercut where she did get her like on the side of the chin, but it didn't really. She backed up a little bit. Tisha Torres backed up and didn't really seem to phase her maybe for a few seconds. But after that, she just went back into the same strategy that she was going into, moving around the ring pretty well. And like I said, those takedowns pretty much definitely gave her some of the points that's why she won the fight. 30-27 in that second round. But as far as this fight, I thought it was going to be a knockout by Tisha Torres early in the first round, but Angela Hill was able to stay in there. So, that's one thing. That definitely I was wrong there, but I kind of knew that Tisha was going to walk all over her. It was just a matchup thing, like you said.
Yeah, no, for sure. So one thing I loved about this card is not only were, I think, all my predictions of winner was right. All of them, like basically most of them were spot on except for the one surprise submission of the night, which we'll talk about next.
Right.
But the rest of them, basically, it's not just that they played out how I thought they would, but the strategies I felt that the fighters needed, they used it. So I already knew Angela Hill was not good against blitzers. And Tisha Torres came out swinging. And combos landing. And just literally just got beat up all night. Like, it makes no sense because Angela Hill is explosive, but it seemed like every 1-2 she threw, she got met with a 3-4.
Yeah.
She kept literally seemed like she was two steps slower than Torres all night, and that explosiveness that she's supposed to have that we've seen before,
she was slower
there at all. And basically, she just got lit up for 3 rounds, man. It wasn't even good.
The third round was a little bit better. The third round, she was able to, like,
it wasn't even good for me because they told her you have to go for takedowns right now to even have a chance of winning this fight. Exactly, at that point, it's a question. You're down 2 rounds. Do you go for try to get a round, maybe win another round? Because I say these coaches in the corners, I think they might win a round when they don't.
Right, I don't think they were going for a round. I think they wanted her to submit her possibly on the ground. They probably thought that she was better on the ground against her. They told her
take down and get control on top. We could work.
Get in control. Yeah.
She didn't have enough explosiveness to do that.
Not at all. No, she wasn't able to move close enough. That's the thing.
You're out there, the stamina, you're getting punched, you're throwing punches. Like, I get it, but like, she really just did not show the oomph that she needed to even be a contender in that fight. And she basically got walked down the whole fight, starting from the first
few seconds. It definitely did. I mean, even like the way that Tisha just came at her in the first few seconds of the round, like you just saw. That's why I really thought it was going to be a first round knockout, is because Tisha, like, she's a blitzer. She likes to go in like fast and hard too. And like you said, she throws not just 1-2, she'll throw 3-4. And that's why I really thought it.
At least one or two of those are landing. It's not just wild,
Angela definitely's got a chin, because even like last time they fought, it was the same thing. It was a decision, but it was still the same kind of thing. Tisha had her the whole all rounds. I will give Angela some credit for the third round, that she actually was able to not get hit as much, because when you're all bloodied up like that and you're not able to see from one eye, I'm sure, she was still able to like block a few shots in the last round, more than the first and second, surprisingly.
Either that or Tisha just wasn't. That she should have.
Yeah, like that's how she should have been in the first round.
But that's how she needed to start to at least get something going.
Exactly. Right. but she just played a different type of style where she was just really backing up the whole way. She wasn't going forward at all. Which the other fight, like we said just a few seconds ago, Song was able to move back and then use his legs and to get back in the middle, which Angela wasn't able to do, and that's why I think she lost that fight. And Alicia's got a great record now, going in at 12-5 now. In the women's division, moving up in the rankings. I mean, she's up in the top 10 now.
Yeah, so both of them are right outside the top 10. And one thing that was a question is Tisha Torres had like a 3 to 4 fight losing streak, and Angela Hill actually won a few in a row. So that was the one thing that even though they felt like Tisha was a favorite, that was something to look at, records and hot streaks and stuff like that. But one thing I like to point out is Tisha Torres basically only lost to people who are or have been
UFC champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's losing to the
Nunes top, she lost to
top of the top. People, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and she's beating pretty much everyone else.
Getting better. That was an absolute clinic in that fight. She's now moved into 9th. She's definitely got a few more fights as long as she keeps showing what she's showing.
I don't think she's in her prime yet.
No,
I really don't think she's in her prime yet. She's still young.
Yeah, I have to say she won the fight, obviously, and she won the first fight. But even, like I said, she just lost a few fights compared to her last fight. She showed a different style, a little more activity. She's always been the blitzers, but she was a little more, guarded, not as wild. Like it was actually
definitely
a little
not
bit
wild.
Better.
Yeah, that's the word right there. So she wasn't playing wild.
Like she's improving still. So yeah, she's definitely gonna be up and coming. You're gonna see her. I would say in a title fight in the next 2 years, as long as she keeps it up.
Yeah, she was definitely throwing a good combo. She wasn't fighting as wild, like you just said. That was definitely key right there. But I remember, like, when she fought Amanda Nunes, they were even saying that, like, it was way too early for her to fight Amanda Nunes at the time. And this one, Amanda was, like, early in her career.
And they'll throw anyone at Amanda.
That's the problem with the women's.
But, like, a few years ago,
now they got a few.
The 2 of those divisions was definitely, like, about to get cut. Like, we only have 8 good fighters. We don't have no money. Like, this is not even worth it.
I mean, now it's getting better.
Exactly. So they got a lot of fighters now. So
yeah, you got Zhang Wei Li, you got Rose Namajunas, who's the champion as well. So you got a few girls. Obviously Joanna, but she lost to Amanda. So there's a few girls out there.
For sure.
They're definitely in there and
work her way up. That's what I said. Give her a year or 2, a few good fights, and she's definitely gonna be up there.
I think she needs 2 more fights to be able to get to the championship. Yeah, she needs 2 more fights. Definitely.
Yeah, because she just lost 3 to 4 in a row. Show me 1 or 2 more good. And I'm not saying me. I'm saying Dana. Show me 1 or 2 good performances, and we'll get you a shot.
Yeah, 3 wins in a row, and that'll get her to the championship. I think in the women's division. I think that will do it. To be honest.
Yeah.
But then we had like the surprise of the night in the next fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it wasn't. Let's not say a surprise, but it was definitely like unexpected, because I mean, we both thought the winner was going to be the winner, but let's talk about this one. You want to go ahead and start this one up? Michael Chiesa versus Vincent Luke.
Yeah, that was a good one. Definitely, we knew going into this fight, Chiesa is so big, so strong. He's a grinder. LeCue's powerful, like to throw too. Obviously, the fight got ended before the first round finished. So it's so funny because it's not like much you can say about the fight. Basically, all you can do is walk through the 2 minutes.
The 2 minutes, right?
That's all you have to talk about.
I mean, that's it.
Basically, LeCue started pressuring early. Chiesa was kind of getting walked back a little bit. They both was just kind of feinting, seeing where they could throw. Chiesa actually landed first, caught him, wanted to go win a little bit. LeCue responded with I think was an uppercut. They both caught each other, woke each other up. Like, oh shit, all right, like we're here. First 2 good punches of the fight, Then after that, LeCue pressured again, hit Chiesa again. Chiesa kind of panicked. Actually, clean takedown.
It was pretty clean. It was like an NFL tackle, literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Clean takedown.
You know what I mean? It was a
takedown, going for the scramble. All right, at this point, the crowd's into it, man. Like,
Yeah, they
Got
were
some
they were going wild
got
because
his
it was a
takedown.
wild fight.
We got some brolic knuckles out there. Like we about to get going. This nigga tried for a fucking armbar. I'm like,
I
oh
know.
shit, oh
That's when you
shit.
thought something
The
was gonna
kid's
be
about
up,
to
right?
lose. Fuck. I don't know
Exactly.
how this nigga put his arm out, got him into a choke. It's over. I
Yep.
stood there with my mouth open, just like, how did all that? Literally, like 30 seconds ago, they were basically
It
two
almost
punches.
looked like it was gonna go one
Instantly.
way, didn't it?
Yeah, yo,
So
wild turn. Hit him with a darce. It was just crazy. Out of
that's where I'm gonna go with this fight. I wanted
out
to
of
talk
arm.
about like how this could have been going the other way real quick because he almost had the arm bar. If he would have like actually pulled the arm like earlier, he maybe would have had it. But oh man, he if you look at the early in the round, it was obviously going back and forth a little bit. You know, the Q definitely got a few more shots than him first, but
He pressured early.
right right
Chicho
before
wasn't just getting walked down.
right, but right before he went down, you know, he definitely got two good shots, and Chisa got two good shots on the Q. So you thought like when the crowd was going wild, you thought they were going down for Chisa. You know, they were going wild for him. And once he went for that armbar, everyone was gonna be like, "Oh my God, he almost had it so quick." But oh man, that
Oh,
that
the
choke, man,
Darce.
the Darce
And
choke
that's why
is one
I
of the
love that.
greatest
I know I love
moves.
that division because
Love
they're
that
so
move.
skilled in everything. You know, the heavyweights are big. The small ones they love throwing submissions, but you got the middle.
This is
They just
the
whatever. Yeah,
most
yeah. I
skilled
was
of
talking to someone
divisions.
at
If
the
you look
bar
at
yesterday. I was saying when you got like the 150, 58,
155,
well,
150 to 150,
155,
165,
I'm
yeah,
talking
that's
about
the
wrestling,
most.
to like 185, elite.
Well, see, these
Like
guys
elite
are also
athletes,
tall.
not like
Like they're
athletes,
crazy tall.
elite. And they're cutting
Yeah,
weight.
yeah.
Cutting
Oh, of
up in
course they
like
do.
60, 20
Of
pounds.
course.
Like, their frames are huge. Like these guys are just skilled. And that was
Right.
such a turn of events. Like even if it would have went longer, it was gonna be wild regardless of how it went. But the fact that it ended like that, right off the jump, love it. And that's what you gotta love about the fight game. You can prepare for 6 months and get finished in 2 minutes.
True. 2 minutes. 2 minutes could be.
Love
But I
it.
mean,
Love
I agree with you. I think this could have went like if it would have went like the full 3 rounds, I think it would have probably been more on the ground though. Like the whole time, every
Yeah, it would have
round,
been a big
somebody would have been got a takedown, and it would have been more of a ground game, trying to get positioning, trying to get submissions. I definitely think the fight would have been like that. But I mean, as you see, like you said, these type of fighters, the guys that are tall, skinny, lengthy, with long reach, long arms, they're able to grab you like in weird ways. These are some of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in MMA, I think. Because first of
yeah.
all, like both of these guys, like LeCue is 5'11", Michael Cheese is 6'1", so tall,
He
lengthy.
still
Their
looks
limbs are
big
so
compared to him.
long. They're able
That
to
was
bend
crazy.
their bodies like crazy ways too. Like so, I I just think that like this is definitely one of the most skilled divisions, and obviously Adesanya is in this division, so like,
Oh,
it's
for sure.
one of the most skilled divisions in the UFC. And you saw what LeCue can do with the Darce. Like not too many people can do the Darce, but he's definitely one of the guys that can pull it off. But
No,
what a
no, that
great
was
win for
definitely
him.
a great fight. That's what I said. Like you thought that like October definitely could have got like fight of the night, but like I said, between
I
the
mean,
heavyweight matchup, Aldo versus Munez, Gaines versus Lewis, and
oh,
Chiesa versus
that's
Q,
for
I'm like
sure.
one of these people
This
gonna
was the
get fight
fight
of
of
the
the
night.
night.
And this man, yeah, man ended up in a submission in the first round.
hmm
So
hmm
definitely, I
And
love it.
Chiesa he was the favorite as well. So
Yeah, but like I said,
coming
I thought
in.
it was gonna be a third round KO for the Q. That's why I said that's the only technical
That's what I
prediction
thought
that I
too.
got wrong. I got another one round wrong for the knockout.
Right.
But this one I thought it was gonna be a knockout, and it was the first round submission. But like basically the fight, like I love this card because especially when you're a fan, and like I mean, even if you're not a fan who like obviously we make this podcast, even if you're just a normal fan who just watch it, you're gonna sit there and say, oh, this person's gonna win, and you're gonna sit there and think why. Like that's why we made this podcast because we always do that to
Right.
ourselves. Let's talk about it.
Of
Let's see
course.
what you got. That's what we're here for. But
hmm
basically, like to see a
But
card
we try to
play out
see our
how it's
receipts
supposed to
though.
play out, I love it. Yeah,
We try to
that's what I'm
see
saying.
our.
For me,
We
this was a
definitely
great
post our
card.
receipts.
Watching it, I'm like, oh, this fight went exactly how it's supposed to. This fight
Yep.
went like it was lovely, and this was really a a wrench thrown in there that still worked out pretty good in my opinion.
And I think we both said that both of these fighters were like, when we were talking about it, both of these fighters were very skilled on the ground. You know, we
Oh
knew that
yeah,
it was
and he
probably going to
was
be a
right.
battle.
It was gonna be a battle. I felt
Right.
like, and that's what I said. I felt like LeQ had to basically push the pressure off, jump, and let Chisa know that he can stand some of those shots, and he's gonna stay in the pocket with him. And he did that. And that
Mm-hmm.
pressure made Chisa scramble for a takedown,
Yep.
and he lost the
Yep.
fight for that.
That's
Not
exactly what
for
happened.
that,
But
but obviously, what if he didn't go to the ground? What if he kept it? You know what I'm saying? It looked like
I
he
was
could
going to
have kept
say, but a
it,
few seconds
but he was
earlier,
feeling that pressure. He was feeling that
imagine
pressure.
him winning. Mm-hmm.
And then he
But
thought he had all right, I got him on the ground, I'm about to pull a choke out, and then he
exactly.
got like yeah, so it was a crazy, crazy fight. I
It was
loved every
definitely
second.
crazy. But honestly, I think even Cheese has still got a chance to move up in the rankings after a
Both
few
of them
more
are
fights. This
very good
this is not a
contenders,
bad
though.
loss for him
Yes.
because submissions like this, they don't really look bad on your record because he actually had a little bit of control too. You know, it wasn't like
I
he was
think they
getting
do.
controlled the whole fight. They look bad, but as far as like the UFC record, like I'm talking about like as far as like Dana looking at it, like it's not gonna look too bad on him because he saw that he had a good fight
Yeah,
up
so here's
until
the
that
thing,
point.
like that was only 2 minutes. He probably threw like three good punches, one for a takedown, and got finished. That's basically what it
Well,
comes down to.
he almost had a submission though. He almost had the
Almost.
submission.
But
Right,
hell,
right.
Conor McGregor lost, even if so. They say it was a 10-8 round against him and Dustin, in that trilogy when he broke his leg. I think that 10-8 happened because they thought that punch took him down when he actually broke his leg. So some people
Mm,
it could have been a 10-9 round. Even
right.
if it was a 10-9 round, Conor almost got Poirier in a choke right off the jump. Poirier still pretty much like that. That
Yeah,
took
yeah,
a
yeah, you're right. He
he
did
didn't
almost.
break
Yeah,
his
it
leg and
wasn't.
he still lost that fight. That would have still, and especially if he got
But
finished, him
I don't
almost
think.
catching him in the choke would have never helped him. That still would
But
have
I
like
don't
been a
think
big
that choke
hit to his
by.
legacy.
I don't think
You
that
don't
choke
think
by
this
Connor
fight
was
did
as
that?
close. No, I don't think that choke by Connor was as close as the armbar by Chisa. That was a pretty close
Yeah,
armbar.
got him.
He
Yeah,
almost
got
had
him.
he almost had the full rotation, like the full pop, like of the
Yeah.
armbar, like, and then he just was able to slip out of it and turn and grab him into the choke. So I do think it was like a little bit more because the armbar is a hard move. It's one of the hardest moves to do, and and you'll see that's why not too many people really get
How do you
armbar.
almost get someone in an armbar and let him slip out? And in the same, it's
He's
not even let him
he
slip out
slipped.
and
He
then
he
catch you
literally slipped out and got him.
the same time,
The
like
same move,
literally
yeah, the same move,
simultaneously.
yeah.
He slipped out and caught you in the darts.
And that's what I'm saying.
How?
Like these guys are
Like
so
I didn't think there's not
technically
there's like I
good.
could have put that shit in a simulation of what move comes next, and
It's not gonna be that one. Nah,
oh,
but
like
but these guys are
pulling
so
close
technically
to a
good
dart.
that they're literally able to move around each other like 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 so quick, and they're able to bend their bodies in crazy ways that they can get out of anything. Honestly, that's why I love this division. I'm gonna love to see like
For
what
sure.
happens next in this one too.
They got some bangers out there, some brawlers. I love it.
And this was definitely. I mean, I think that yeah, this won the fight of the night for sure. It got the bonus for that one, but the next one could have gotten it because this
Hey,
was
right too.
this this was another like great fight, like all around fight. It obviously went to decision, but as far as the fight goes, the
That was a great
Jose
fight.
Aldo versus Pedro Munoz fight. I'm gonna talk about this one first a little bit. I mean,
Ah,
if you look at the scorecard, then yeah, it was 30-27, 30-27, 30-27.
Aldo won
Jose
every
won.
round.
He literally won every round. And if you look at the fight, it pretty much won the same way. The one thing I will give Munoz is that he was throwing a good amount of leg kicks, just like Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo threw way more though,
He
but
was
that's
matching his intensity.
the only thing I'm giving
Always.
Munoz is the kicks. The other than that is I can't give him anything else in this fight. Jose Aldo really like showed himself like the young man that he was back in the day, like beating up fighters. I think he's back. I really think he is. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
call it. I had this fight going to
Title
Munoz,
push.
but like at this fight I was talking about should I go my heart or my head, and at the
Yeah.
time I really thought Munoz he won like 3 out of 4 fights, and he had 3 out of 4 fight on the nights before that. So you thought he was like really on his way up.
Looking good.
Obviously Jose had another thing coming for him though. And those leg kicks, even Daniel Cormier, that one thing he was saying is like, Yo, the leg kicks, leg kicks, leg kicks. If Joe Rogan was here, he would just say leg kicks all day. And that's all they were doing. They were like throwing up a lot of those. Obviously, the punches from Jose Aldo, they're incredible. You know, he's able to get takedowns as well. But Munoz, he wasn't able to back Jose up, so Jose was getting a lot more punches on him. I think he threw like overall, like he threw 128 versus 112 overall punches. So that's more, you know. But if you look at, oh, sorry, that's total.
No, it's crazy.
That's total hits because that's leg kicks as well. Sorry, that's leg kicks as well.
Yes.
The punches are a lot less. He threw like 68 punches to 112. That's what it was.
Before you move on to that, Jose Aldo has fought in 5-round championship fights. In this fight, he broke his
record, isn't it?
Strike record. He broke his personal record of significant strikes thrown or landed. I'll be honest, I don't know which one. I think it was landed.
And thrown. I'm sure
and
probably
he fought in 5-rounders. So that goes to show he was putting in work at his age. You know what I'm saying?
Before, right.
Yeah, and I loved it because like it goes down to what I said has to happen, happened. And it just like I love every second of it. I was like, I'm going my heart this time with Jose. Pretty much as long as he comes out and as long as he, like I said, he's not a fighter you can press carelessly. And I don't think Munoz was pressing carelessly, but he wasn't pressing good enough. He pressed the whole fight, and the counter punching and the counter combos was so freaking efficient from Aldo. It was another clinic to watch. Like it wasn't a straight like you said, it wasn't a straight like wash, but he won every single round for a reason. Like he basically was nullifying everything Munoz tried to throw. And it was just like he kept the pace at his own, and he found a way to finish strong just in case it wasn't questioned. So he made sure he got all the decision. Like it was such a great fight to watch. I want my heart, and I love it because I said I want him to get a title push. He now got moved to top 5, and he's definitely I say one more fight, and he's a contender for a title.
He's up there in top 5 for sure.
One more fight. Yeah.
I agree with you right there.
They do got to stack. Because I think you gotta let Sterling fight Jan again. You still gotta stack higher, so it might be more than one fight. But that name alone, let him win one more, and that name alone can carry him to his title shot for sure. So yeah, that was good. He controlled the pace, controlled the fight, and basically did his thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you give him one more fight, if he wins, then he's definitely gonna be in a title shot. You know, title contention, whoever it is. I mean, it depends on what UFC wants to do with this division, but there's a lot of good guys up at the top. There's a lot of great guys at the top, man. There really is. So, I mean,
and they're active. So that's one of the reasons for because at least with some of the higher up, like with the welterweights, the motherfuckers are just sitting around waiting for a title shot. You know, with this division, everyone's fighting, so he can't just hop people when they're actively fighting.
It looks like Sterling's going to stay there for a while, though, for me at least, in that division, you know. Peter Yan might have a chance to fight again, you know, for the championship, but I think Sterling's staying there.
Because Yan was winning that fight before that disqualification.
He was.
Definitely happening again. So that's my whole thing with that fight is that's 100% next. And I'm not 100% sure Sterling's walking away with that title.
I mean, it didn't look good for him at first.
And that's the thing. That's his worst night. Like, you know, off the jump, he really didn't. He looked sluggish. So hopefully he does come back with a different fire and show us some of what he showed us to obviously get that title shot. But no, for sure, it's not gonna be a walkthrough. I say for me personally, when they fight next, that title has a 50-50 chance of walking away with either fighter for me. Until I see a little bit,
even though I saw that
Cams, you know, I like to get a little closer. But as of right now, I don't think Sterling just walks away with that belt after a rematch.
Right. Okay, I see. I have it more like a 60-40 for me as Sterling wins it, you know, against Peter Yan. If it's another fight, even though you know we saw what happened with that first fight, and he was on his knee and he got hit, you know, so it definitely was a weird disqualification, and he was losing that fight. Aljamain Sterling was losing that fight, and I don't know. I still see it as 60-40, him winning it because you know he's a lot better fighter than Peter Yan overall.
People was talking trash about how he won the belt. I hope he comes out with something to prove. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely like he wants it, like he's still hungry
Like a chip,
for it. Not
he should have a chip on his shoulder. I
right, right.
promise you. Obviously I'm not a professional fighter, but if I want to fight like that and win the belt like that, when
Yeah,
I was losing, I would have a chip on my shoulder. Not
and
only would I
it's
have a chip on my shoulder, I think not one person really consider him a legitimate champion right now, and he knows that.
right now they don't, but I mean I think they will. They will once he gets another fight.
If he
You
goes
will
and
see.
defends that title and walk away with the belt, yes, hundred
I see a
percent.
lot more potential from him. But speaking of chip
I
on his
do.
shoulder, Jose Aldo, he's got a chip on his shoulder,
He's
man.
got a
Like
chip, and now
he
he's
wants
knocking on that door.
he wants that
Knocking right
championship
on that
belt
door,
too.
baby. Yes, sir.
And he's looking like his young self again. That's the one thing I like to see about him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely
if
looks
he's able
very.
to like control fights like this, and in this division, that's what you need. You need guys to control fights. You know, Peter Yan's a lot bigger
It's
than
the
Jose, but
IQ. And that's what I said. He can go in there, and if he can control the fight, knowing that it's the tools that he has, like it's the
right,
experience that he has. Like if he can go in there and use that, then yeah, I know he was gonna walk away. And obviously, I didn't think he was gonna knock anyone out, but that's what I said. Decision,
right.
exactly what
I didn't
happened.
either. I thought it was gonna be a decision too, but I just picked Munoz.
Right,
But
yeah.
but Peter Yan, he's like that same type of fighter. He likes to control a fight too. So it'll be interesting, like if that happens in the future too. I mean, if the
Yeah.
championship fight doesn't happen with them, that's gonna be interesting though. But speaking of championship fights, let's talk about the interim champion that happened.
Heavyweight.
Interim championship
That was my
belt.
favorite fight of the night.
Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis. You know, it
Oh
was a
yeah.
third round knockout. Cyril Gane got that knockout. It was a five round. I mean, sorry, a five 5 rounder, but in the third round it was a knockout. But let's talk about this one. We both actually had called this one as a fourth round knockout. We both said early
Yeah.
fourth round too, which is crazy. Like, and it was
Right.
late third round or something like that. But
I
you
thought
know,
Game was gonna take his time a little bit more, but honestly, Lewis didn't show him much, and he was able to, execute and
no,
finish sooner.
literally what we said happened in this one, and that's why like I'm
Exactly.
glad like we looked at this one pretty carefully, and we both saw these guys techniques, how they both fight. We both know like Derek Lewis is that one man punch man, that knockout power. You know,
That's all he
he
has.
throws that one. Yeah, that's the one thing that guys like Ngannou and obviously Cyril Gane like worked on their games. They don't just have that tough punch, even though this heavyweight division is about like hard punching, and most of the time
Right.
guys get knocked out in the heavyweight division. Whenever there's a heavyweight fight, it's a knockout. Like, you know, there's this rarely, and we said this, it's rarely a decision. That's why we called it
Right.
was going to
Or
be
a
a knockout.
submission.
Right, or submission. But these heavyweight fighters are usually like, you know, knockout artists. And Derek Lewis, he really wasn't able to get like too many shots, like too many power shots. He got a few. I saw he got 2 punches, but they didn't really seem to phase. In the second round, he got 2 punches, one in the chin, and then one would look like almost on the back of the head of Cyril Gane. That when Cyril Gane like looked over at the ref a little bit. Other
Right.
than that, he didn't really get like too many hard punches that really seemed to phase Cyril Gane. Cyril was able to like, you know, get at him and move forward, and when he needed to move back, he wasn't like jabbing and moving back. He was just moving his head side to side, so he
No,
wasn't getting hit. He was
he was
definitely
playing
moving
it
his head
safe,
like,
and I
yeah,
absolutely loved it. Like the crowd hated it. Obviously, they were there for Derek, but I absolutely love it.
hometown man. You know, he's from Houston.
Right.
It was in Houston arena, so definitely the crowd wanted Derek Lewis to win. But I mean, we both thought like Cyril Gane, he was undefeated for a reason, and he's still undefeated now, which is crazy. You know, what do you think about him as a whole? Like, I mean, this fight there's not much to talk about, this Derek Lewis fight and Cyril Gane. We both thought what was going to happen, and
Yeah.
we both saw that it was pretty much a clinic by Cyril Gane. You know, so let's
Well,
just talk
no,
about like, or you want to talk
but
about the fight a little bit?
I'm gonna say, well, no, you want to talk about gaining his skills, but I think you have to use a fight because
All right, go ahead.
I
Yeah,
love a
go ahead.
technical fighter. Like
Mm-hmm.
you might want to go out there and see them knock each other out, but that's not what I'm here for. I love the game. You know what I'm saying? I like most sports I'm drawn to is the mental part of the game. So
That's a
pretty
fact.
much, Cyril, it was a technical, it was a clinic, man, not like a striking clinic, but he knew what he had to do to negate Derek Lewis' only weapon, and he did it perfectly.
That's a fact.
Literally, like I don't want to say like. No, I will say Derek Lewis looked like an amateur out there.
That's what I was gonna say.
He
He didn't look
couldn't
good at
find no
all.
way. to
He
get
didn't look good.
anything going.
No.
No way. And Cyril Gain played it safe, kept picking him
Hmm.
apart with them leg kicks,
He chose his
playing on the
spots.
outside, choosing his spots. Like it was magical. And as I was saying, some people might watch fights like that and it's boring. Like I loved every
Nah, that
second of
wasn't a
it
boring fight
because
at all.
I'm watching Cyril. Like I'm watching Gain do work on every second I'm watching. I'm watching his footwork. I'm watching, like you said, picking his spot, beating that leg up, coming in and out. Like
That's another.
it was
That's another thing I was gonna agree. Yeah, right there. Those leg kicks that Cyril Gain was throwing. Heavyweights don't really throw leg kicks like that.
what's up. Yeah.
Yo, he was throwing leg kicks too, which is
And
pretty
that's the thing,
crazy for a heavyweight.
the best way to negate a great right hand is to take out the lead foot. If you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
put the
yeah.
weight on that
Get
lead
that
foot to throw
calf
that
out.
right hand, you're not going to get the power how it should
Mhm.
be. And that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like he basically played perfect. And I said, so I thought fourth round knockout, but Derek really didn't offer anything. And he's seen at least once or twice he already hurt him a little bit. So in that third round, he was really able. All right, this like we can close in and finish it. Which is still another like he knows when he smells the blood in the water. He knows when he can
Yeah.
finish a fight. Like he's not crazy. He's not wild. Like obviously, I say Nagano's a better fighter, but it took Nagano a lot longer to learn some of these skills.
Oh, that's for sure.
And already have.
But I mean, Cyril
Oh,
Gain, he's been
and
fighting
they
for
used
a
to train
long time, and he was a
3 years.
trainer. He's been fighting for a while.
Has he before 3 years?
Cyril Gain. Even
Oh
before
yeah,
well, before that, Ngannou hasn't been fighting as long.
right.
Obviously, but Cyril Gain was a trainer as well back in the day. Like he was a boxing trainer at one point in France. So
Right.
he
So he
definitely
definitely has.
has. He's been a fighter. Like he's been around the fighting. Other like Ngannou was just learning everything. He knew one style, and that was like going in and punching. That's what Ngannou knew, like street fighting. So Ngannou took him longer because he just wasn't around fighting as much. But that's why I think you're right. Cyril Gain, like he's got these skills already, and he's still young in the game, and he's still
Oh yeah.
Undefeated right now too. So this is
And right now he's basically an interim champion,
yep.
and he's
And
got the
so you know
shot
what
at
that means.
he's taking a shot at the champion. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
he's gonna have to have a fight against the champion, and that's what I think is next for him. Honestly, I think obviously that they're gonna make that fight happen.
Heavyweight champions, and none of them like you don't do like they have to fight each other. It shouldn't have been an interim
That's
heavyweight belt
true.
anyway.
I
Lewis
was
should
gonna
have
say
just
that
fought
too.
Gain as a regular 5 round fight to see who
I
fights
was gonna
Ngannou.
say that too.
If
I
that's
was gonna
what you
say
wanted.
there's no need. There's no need for that interim champion. You knew what was gonna happen. Either one of these fighters is gonna fight the champion.
And one thing I do give it to Nagano, yeah, there might have been some negotiation deals and some money issues, but they definitely made everyone in the heavyweight division step aside, watch Cormier and fucking Stipe fight a trilogy, not allowing
Yeah, yeah,
anyone else
yeah.
to get a shot at the
Not anyone
belt. And
else
the
fight.
second he wins the fucking belt, months later they make an interim heavyweight. Like that's definitely
Right.
disrespectful.
Of
Like
course it is.
even if you
They
couldn't find a way, like I said, even if you couldn't find a way to get negotiations, all right, then you don't fight for the rest of this year. At least,
see
uh,
that's the no
in
right there.
August, let's get another heavyweight contender out there. Like this fight should have still happened when it happened, and then let's try to figure out a fight for the end of the year. If it can't happen, then you can't. You have to fight before February or March. You know what I'm saying?
See
Like,
that's
yes, if y'all couldn't negotiate right, then that's fine. But you still could have let other heavyweights fight for the next contention to who's the next contender, and they made a fucking belt for that. Like, that made no sense.
that's the thing. Like Ngannou wanted to wait until 2022 when UFC goes to Africa, but the thing with the UFC, they want to have another heavyweight championship fight at the end of this year, the end of 2021. So this is going to be like somewhere in Las Vegas probably, and so Ngannou was waiting. He wanted to wait for 2022 to happen. Like it was supposed to be early 2022 when the Africa a UFC was going to happen, which would have been great. 3 African champions fighting possibly on one card would have been incredible to see. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to have the Cyril Gain fight versus Ngannou probably somewhere later this year, maybe even like November, sometime
Right.
November.
Well,
I could
not
see
November
that.
because it has to be December
Oh
because they
yeah,
only
I'm
have
sorry,
one
December.
main
You're
fight.
right. You're right. No,
It has
because
to be
it's
because November's already
so it's
Covington versus.
October. Yep, it's covered. Yep, you're right. You're right.
So it
They
has
already
to be
made that one
December
happen.
if it doesn't happen in
It,
October. And I think
you're right. It will
October's
have to
already
be
booked too. So at
268.
this point, but that's what I'm saying. At this point, everything till November's already booked up. At
Right.
like he wasn't gonna fight
267
until
is
December
yeah.
at least anyway. So what's the point of the belt? Like
Well,
let
he was
Joshua
trying to wait
that
for
contract.
he wanted to wait for the Africa fight, which would have been incredible. Having a heavyweight fighter in Africa would be like, you know, like my man, like I don't know, one of the greatest things
Up
that just happened for that
on the
country.
card, that would have been dope for sure. It still can
Hmm.
happen too, but no,
Yeah,
he has to put his belt. He can't just sit for a fucking year. That's what I kind of liked about the UFC. They make you defend your belt, but now I don't like that they just let anyone get a shot at the fucking belt.
I know it. I mean, for Derek Lewis, it's tough because I don't see him actually coming back from this. I just don't see
So
it. I
crazy
don't.
because he still could knock out almost any other heavyweight. But like I said, if the only
I
skill he
mean,
has is that
for
punch, and fighters and heavyweight fighters refuse to play his game, because most of them want to go in there and they think they could out
the
punch or beat Derek Lewis at what Derek Lewis do best. Like no, Cyril Gane's the only fighter that sat there and actually even fucking Ngannou
that's the
lost against
thing.
Derek Lewis early in his career.
He
Like
did,
no
he
other
did,
fighters actually took the time
but
to
that was
negate
very
his own
early.
power.
That was very early. I think
Oh,
Ngannou now lose. I mean, Ngannou wins against Derek Lewis now. You
mm-hmm.
know, I definitely think. Like, I mean, if you were to just bet on it right now, you would say that both.
I say so.
If it was a rematch, Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis, Derek Lewis is loses again. If it was a matchup against Derek Lewis versus Ngannou, Derek loses again. So those are the top two heavyweights right there right now. I don't
Yeah,
think he has a chance to get back.
Gaines
Maybe
first.
Miocic.
I would say Gaines the number one contender now, obviously with the interim heavyweight belt.
Yeah,
Miocic's number two, and Lewis is still number three. Like ain't no other heavyweight really better than them.
I could see Derek Lewis and Miocic. Lewis beating Miocic possibly, but other than that,
That's
like
if that fight happen.
I don't see a rematch against Gane and Ngannou versus Lewis like that. That it's gonna be the same thing that just happened, honestly. And even if Ngannou and Lewis happens, it will be exactly what Cyril Gane is doing. He's picking his spots. He's not actually going in when
And
he's not
Ngannou
going
has
in
a
too
way
rough,
longer reach.
way
Like
longer.
Ngannou's
Yep.
literally like I think John Jones is the second longest. I'm pretty
Right.
sure Ngannou, and he was the longest until Ngannou came into the league. But before that, I mean, after that,
That's
now
a fact.
Ngannou has the longest reach, and we're already that physically gifted, that tall, that athletic, and your reach is longer than anyone. Then yeah, he
That's a
could
fact.
definitely pretty much beat anyone.
That's a. I mean, it definitely looks like that for him. And I mean, I'm gonna be interested what happens though in this heavyweight division though, because whatever happens, like you got some great fights that are gonna be happening. You know,
For sure.
I mean,
That's
both of either Searle and Ngannou, and obviously whoever wins that one, what's gonna happen next is gonna be that John Jones fight if he does want to fight.
yeah. So yeah, and
So
he's still working to come back. So he's definitely still looking to come back this year or next year, 2022.
right, right. So those are some great fights. Honestly, all of them were
Amazing
great in
card.
this
Yeah, it was
card.
my That was
Amazing
one of my
card.
favorite cards this year. Not the best names we've had, but it was a great card. Like I personally loved watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that at least people got to know Cyril Gaines' name because we kind of know about him. We seen a few of
Hmm.
his fights and we seen him like starting to be up and coming as a good heavyweight fighter. But now he's really showing
Yes,
people
sir.
that he's a technical fighter and a little bit better than a lot of heavyweights because he's able to use his leg kicks as well as punch, and he doesn't just go out there and use all his power on one punch. He actually like
Mhm.
uses counters and stuff.
He's so
Like guys
technical,
like
very agile, very mobile.
yeah, like Tuivasa and like Greg Hardy, they're trying to like knock you out with that one punch. Derek Lewis too, but it just looks like Gane is so fast. He's got the leg kicks, very mobile, like you said, very like his mobility is like one of his biggest strengths, I think.
He got all the tools you need. A lot
Yeah,
more than most heavyweights have. That's why I love
that's a
him.
fact. Great card, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I
Yes,
mean, I
sir.
definitely did, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode too.
Hmm.
We definitely love talking UFC whenever we get the chance to. Next card unfortunately is not for a while. I think until like September 4th or
Yeah, we
something like
got
that.
the Volkanovski versus Ortega. Right now, they're leading the Ultimate Fighter season, first season back since COVID, so they're going to be leading that card. Definitely going to be a good card as well. You already know we're going to be here for it.
Right, right, right. We definitely gonna be doing that one. That's gonna be an interesting one. And then of course we might even talk a little bit about maybe just throwing a little bit about that the boxing match. It just, they announced Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 3 is going out. Maybe we'll throw like
Yes.
a few minutes about that for sure.
No,
But
we'll
when it goes
definitely
on, because that's not
give
going
that
on until October, so we got plenty
right.
of time for that one. And obviously NFL season's coming up. We'll definitely get some episodes going on there.
Right
We're
around
still
the
going to talk
corner.
about the NBA draft and all the free agency that was going on, because there's some crazy stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But we just hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is all about the UFC today.
Yes.
And thank you guys for really listening to us. And if you guys want to catch us on social media, check us out. And if you want to listen to the podcast, we're out everywhere, wherever you listen to your podcast. So thank you guys again for listening to Who You Got with
Mello
and Rado. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.